Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Have You Played, where I'm going to show you some spoiler-free gameplay from a selection of older games and give you my thoughts on them. In this video I'm playing Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, which was released in 2001 and split up into two games, Tara's Journey and Kobe's Journey. Though apart from a few small differences such as wild monster selection and a post-game key, they're nearly identical games. The original Dragon Warrior Monsters game was my introduction to the Dragon Quest series, and Dragon Warrior Monsters 2 was one of my favorite games as a kid. Even today, it remains my favorite of all the Dragon Quest games, so let's talk about it. The story centers around a family of monster breeders moving to the island of Great Log with their children, Tara and Kobe. Soon after arriving, the siblings get into a conflict with the island's prince and cause the island to start sinking, resulting in one of the siblings becoming a monster master while trying to find a way to save their new home. After deciding which sibling will embark on a journey, depending on which game you're playing, the family monster Slash will join you as your first teammate. As you travel around various worlds, you'll be able to tame new monsters, either by bribing them with meat in battle, or sometimes one will randomly ask to join you after a fight. You can have up to 3 monsters with you at any given time, but since the game boasts an impressive 300 plus monsters, spread across 11 families, you'll have plenty of options to experiment with. 2 of my personal favorites being Dead Noble and Cloud King. The only limitation is that you can only have a certain number of monsters stored at the farm with your sibling at any given time, so you can't just keep hatching eggs and taming new monsters without making some sacrifices along the way. The Dragon Warrior Monsters games also give you the ability to breed monsters together, resulting in rarer and stronger monsters, depending on the parents that you choose. For example, if you breed a slime with a curse lamp, you'll get a box slime, which is the typical monster you'll get from breeding a monster from the slime family with a monster from the material family. However, if you were to breed a Draki with a tropic gel, you would get a funky bird, which is a rarer monster you can get when breeding 2 specific monsters together. The child of the 2 monsters you breed together will also inherit the spells and skills of its parents. So if you breed a monster that has healing abilities with a monster that has fire attacks, the child will be capable of learning the healing abilities as well as the fire attacks. If you're constantly breeding your favorite monsters together, by the end of the game you could very well have a monster that's capable of healing your entire team one term and sending an inferno at your opponents the next. The combat itself is turn-based, giving each monster, yours and your opponent's, a chance to attack, heal, guard, or use a variety of status-affecting spells to get you closer to victory. And there's a good balance in difficulty as you progress through the worlds. It's challenging enough to keep you engaged, but it never crosses over into being overly punishing. Otherwise, the gameplay follows a simple JRPG formula, along with some optional adventures and side quests. Another standout aspect of the game is its soundtrack. The 8-bit tracks in Dragon Warrior Monsters 2 are full of nostalgia and charm, enriching the adventures you'll experience with your monster partners, as well as actually being tracks you don't mind hearing on loop, because you'll likely be spending at least a few hours in each world before moving on to the next. Of course, no game is without its flaws, and Dragon Warrior Monsters 2 has 2 big ones. The main story, while enjoyable, is relatively short. You'll find yourself reaching the end of your journey sooner than expected, and once you do, the post-game content, while offering some additional challenges, can feel a bit repetitive. One of the more frustrating aspects, though, are some of the late-game breeding formulas. Some of the rarest monsters in the game require very specific and hard-to-obtain monsters as parents, and the game won't tell you which ones until you've already managed to figure it out. Which, when there are over 300 monsters to pick from and you can only have so many at the farm at any given time, it can be incredibly frustrating to navigate without using an external guide. And I think that the game could have benefited greatly from creating some kind of in-game system where you're able to find guides or hints to those rarer monsters. When you compare Dragon Warrior Monsters 2 to similar games such as the Pokemon series or even Digimon, you'll see that it distinguishes itself with a complex breeding system, a broader selection of monsters, and a distinct set of worlds to explore, and I think that deserves more recognition. It's a game series that I hope will be revived one day, as it's only been continued through remakes that were limited to Japan. But for anyone who loves monster taming games or is seeking a nostalgic JRPG experience, Dragon Warrior Monsters 2 is a game that I would highly recommend. As always though, this is just my opinion. Whether you're just starting your career as a monster master, or you've already saved Great Log from ruin, let me know in the comments what you think of Dragon Warrior Monsters 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.